For years, I chased a number in the bank account. I thought that was the cure for being broke. But the funny thing is, even when the money came, I felt emptier than ever. Actually, I was at my most empty when I had the most money. This is the story of how I found out I was bankrupt in a way money could never ever fix, and how embracing being broke in the world's eyes finally made me truly rich. I used to think being broke was all about an empty bank account. You know, a decline card, or that sinking feeling when rent is due and you just short. My worth was my net worth. My peace of mind came from my financial stability. But I was so wrong. I had some money, yeah, but my spirit was bankrupt. It was this deeper kind of poverty, an inner hollowness that no paycheck could fill, an emptiness that left me feeling anxious and insecure, no matter what my life looked like on the outside. This spiritual bankruptcy, this poverty of the spirit, it's a quiet, creeping kind of broke. It's the feeling of having a full house but an empty soul. It's chasing success, getting a promotion, buying the thing you always wanted, and then standing there in the middle of it all wondering, wait, is this it? For me, it was this constant humming anxiety under the surface of everything. It was a desperate need for validation from other people, this feeling that my value was something I had to earn every single day. I remember this one moment so clearly. I had just landed a huge project I'd been working toward for over a year. On paper, it was a massive success. The contract was signed, the money was on its way, and I should have been celebrating. I called my family, I posted about it online, I did all the things you're supposed to do when you make it. But later that night, I was sitting alone in my apartment, and the silence was just deafening. There was no joy, no peace, just quiet. And in that quiet, this terrifying question bubbled up. What if I get everything I've ever wanted, and it's still not enough? That was my reality. I was living in a state of self-reliance, believing I could control everything, build my own security, and create my own happiness. But man, it was exhausting. I was performing for my own peace of mind, and the performance was bombing. I was trying to fill this inner void with things that were never designed to bring real peace. My heart was troubled and restless because it was trying to find rest in everything but the one thing that could actually provide it. I was running on the treadmill of my own making, and I was completely burned out. I was spiritually broke. My turning point wasn't some big lightning bolt moment. It was more of a slow, painful slide to a new kind of rock bottom. Not a financial one, but an emotional and spiritual one. It all came to a head when I went through a period of intense personal loss. Everything I had been leaning on for my identity, my work, a relationship, my carefully laid out plans, it was all shaken at once. There I was, stripped of all the external things I thought made me me, and I was terrified. The anxiety I kept bottled up for so long came crashing in like a tidal wave. I remember one night, just in the depths of it all, I literally fell to my knees. I had nothing left, no strength, no answers, no 5-step plan to fix it. And in that moment of complete surrender, for the first time, I didn't try to solve my own problem. I just admitted it. I prayed a prayer that wasn't fancy at all. It was just, God, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I am broke. I have nothing left to give. If you're real, I need you. That was it. That was the moment I declared spiritual bankruptcy. It wasn't about shame. It was about finally accepting the truth that I couldn't earn my way to peace. I had to stop trying to pay a spiritual debt I could never afford. When I hit the floor, I finally understood what it meant to be poor in spirit. My whole life I thought being poor was a curse. But Jesus says, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. I always thought that was about money, but it's not. It's about recognizing you are totally spiritually bankrupt without God. It's admitting that you are destitute and can't save yourself. It's emptying yourself of all that self-reliance. In that moment of brokenness, I was finally poor enough in spirit to receive a gift I could never earn. Admitting I had nothing was the only way I could get ready to receive everything. My brokenness wasn't the end. It was the starting point. My pride had to crumble so that something true and lasting could be built in its place. This wasn't a defeat. It was a surrender. And in that surrender, the war inside me finally started to end. After that turning point, things started to change. Not overnight, but slowly, like a sunrise. The world outside didn't change, but my way of seeing it did. I started to get that a blessed life isn't about having a comfortable lifestyle. It's about having this deep inner abundance of peace and grace.